Cool. Alright, hello and welcome to Ruckus and Rucksacks. The point of this is not to give you any sort of details about how to get from point A to point B or anything or any details like that. It's more just sort of sharing stories about experiences that we've had and hopefully get you the same sort of desire to do similar things to us. Alright, today I'm joined by my buddy Stefan.
Stefan, that's me. How's it going, mate?
Doing well, bro. Doing well. How you going today, man?
Not bad. It's been an okay day so far. Yeah, you could say. Just doing the China thing, waking up in China, having breakfast in China. It's that kind of thing.
Oh man, breakfast over here is so different.
I never know what to do for breakfast, man. People from my work, they'll all get the chung fan.
Yeah.
Chung fan's fine, but whenever I wake up, I'm like, okay, breakfast time, McDonald's time.
Oh,
I think I've eaten more McDonald's in China than I've ever done in my life.
Did you ever get into those breaded roll things? They almost look like four circles and they're long.
Yeah. I know what you're on about. I'm not really crazy about the bread, honestly, but yeah.
Well, I mean, one of those things that I missed when when I first got here was just a pie. I know that's really bad, but
those small home comforts, a nice little pie.
Oh man. And I got into Baozi for the longest time, and for those who are listening, Baozi is it's basically got the innards of a pie, so the steak and the kind of gravy stuff. But instead of having pastry around it, it's like a
cloudy dough thing. They kind of look like little clouds.
Yeah. And they're very sort of iconic. They're circle things and fluorescent whites, and they get.
Yeah.
Oh, they have them in the steamer trays.
Mm-hmm.
But, alright, so I was going to start today with a quote.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's me. This is from Bill Bryson. When you move from one country to another, you have to accept that there are some things that are better and some things that are worse, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Sweet, man. And I think that's a good way of putting it because, how should I put it? We've been living in China for some time, and there's this common saying. It's you're having a China day, or if you're living in Shanghai, people would say okay, today it's a Shanglo day rather than a Shanghai day.
Okay, yeah. I think there are two types of people that come to China. Basically, coming back to the quote, you either accept that, or a lot of people have a very hard time accepting that, and they'll spend a lot of time complaining. And I think the former are the ones that do well over here, and the latter just sort of implode a little bit.
Yeah, no, I get that. Everyone's got their own special favorite thing that they like to do.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, my favorite thing to do was I'd grab a beer and I'd head down to those massage parlors, and I would get them to just massage my feet for 40 minutes, and they wash it and they get little buckets out, and you just sit there and there's recliner lazy boy thing. And just drink a beer and chill out and send a couple of WeChat messages and just start getting your centre happening.
Yeah, I've actually in my life never had a single professional massage. Never.
You're kidding me?
I've been in China for about 16 months now, and I've just never, I don't know, I've always been let's go for a massage today, and then I'm nah.
Have you ever been through Southeast Asia?
Not really that much, no.
Oh man, when I first went to Thailand, and this is probably going on about 6 years now, I went with this girl called Chloe, and she just became obsessed with getting massages. We'd just wake up hungover, drink a beer on the way to the massage parlor, and then they'll do this thing at the very end of the massage where they kind of wrap themselves in front of you and behind you. They put their arms under your armpits and then grab you across your chest, and they swing you back and forth until they do this final one. And your legs are facing forward, and your face is facing backwards, and it's.
That sounds amazing. Man.
Oh, it is. You just kind of fall back after that in just a puddle of yourself, just so relaxed.
I think if I was going for a massage, I'd want to go the full mile. I'm I don't want to walk for days. I want you to kick the absolute shit out of me for an hour.
The funny thing is, like, the first time you do it, you go in there and you want that really tough massage, and it's not even enjoyable. Like, it's painful, and then afterwards you feel amazing. And like the more and more massages that you get, eventually you come to the point where you're just like, I actually just want this to be relaxing. I'm gonna close my eyes, and like you can use oils and like hot stones and stuff. But all right, so what's your extra special favorite thing to do when you're having a China day?
Special favorite thing to do on a China day, I do my mobikes. I like to mobike down to the bay, and one thing I've gotten really good at is mobike and beer. So I have one on the handle, and then put it down on the basket. It's a special skill that I've never thought to learn back home, but biking and beering is a good thing, and the bay is fucking beautiful anyway. So you get down to there, you go all the way back, and then you get to OCT Harbour. I go for a wander around there. Sometimes I bring my guitar with me. I'll go, there's a bar called Demon.
Yeah, I know.
Like during the day it's always dead, so I'll go and I'll get a pint and I'll just sit there and play some guitar in there. That's one of my favourite little things to do right now.
That's excellent. So, like, what has been your like worst China day?
Well, I had a few when I first got here, man, and a lot of it was to do with diarrhea. So
yeah, for those
put it lightly, like
if you've never been to China, like. The safest way of putting this is like for the first 6 months, you're either in a 72-hour window of either had diarrhea or going to have diarrhea.
Yeah, like so offers like a whispering thing at the back of your head. It's like, Stephen, any moment now, I could make you shit yourself. Like it's like a fear that never really goes away. I don't know if I'm just a weirdo, but that's how I feel a lot of the time.
Oh, your body takes so long to adjust. And like one of my worst moments when traveling was I landed in Saigon, and I went out the night of, got really, really drunk, and then woke up the next day and I was like, I want some Vietnamese coffee and I want like a bowl of pho. And I went down, got it, and it was like from this little street vendor. And there was heaps of locals there, and I thought like, oh, this will be fine. Like I'll survive. Like it's going to be pretty good quality because the locals go there every day, so you imagine that they're not like poisoning them. So I had that, and then I got into like a overnight bus, and it hit me probably about 10 o'clock that night, and the bus didn't stop until 6 o'clock the next day, and I'm just like. I'm trying to hold this thing back, and I've just got the worst stomach. I'm like punching my leg like every 2 seconds just to try and like divert my attention from what's happening. Oh, it was so rough,
man. Like, yeah, I can definitely empathise with that.
So your China day had to do with diarrhea.
It was like during onboarding, and. Actually, it wasn't really even that bad. I think me and James had gone out the night before or something, and we were having to do this like team teach thing. And I don't know if I was just like, I didn't really want to miss anything because it was like brand new and stuff. So I should have called in sick and everything, but I didn't. And I just remember that was like the day of the fear. Nothing really terrible happened, but like Leigh would be like, "Oh, Stephen, stand up! It's time for your team teach." I'd be like, "Okay," like really. Like. Stephen, what's the matter? So it's just sore legs. Like waddling around, like
you got like a cold sweat happening.
There's a little Small Star Kids song. Like this could go off at any moment.
Oh, that's rough, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
And so like when you finally stopped, you would have gone home and you would have been like, oh, like I can't have anything else go wrong. It's been this way all day.
And yeah, I think I just got home and I just you can take that as whatever you want. Like
I just assuming collapsing.
Pretty much.
Just
I was like,
going fetal.
I was like, okay, we got through this, and then yeah, that was a pretty bad day. It wasn't terrible. I mean, I could probably think of some more examples if you give me a minute of pretty bad days in China, but honestly, I think I've had a lot more great experiences here than I've had China days.
I definitely agree. I think at first, like, you have a lot of China days because you're getting used to the language, you're getting used to the way that things are, and like one of my worst China days was I was in Shanghai, and I woke up in the morning and I had to go to work, and my work was like a 2.5 hour metro ride away. So like I was living out in like Wujiacheng, which is it's so far off in the distance of Shanghai, and my work was on the other side of the city, and Shanghai is massive. But anyway, so I got on and it was like rush hour, and it was basically being sardined for about 2 hours, and I was stuck between a lot of workers that had been coming in from the country to do projects in the city, and like just everyone stunk, and it was like, everyone they just had caked a sweat on it, and like you kind of move your arms and it's just like, it's fucking wet.
It's like swimming in hand soap or something.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And then I went to try and get some breakfast, and I couldn't China. Like I couldn't Chinese in any way, shape, or form. Like it was like I didn't even have like Wu Yao Jigger. Which is like
that bad.
It was that bad. Like I only had the real foundations. Yeah. And so if you're listening, you don't know, Wu Yao Jigger basically means like I want that, or I want this. Wu Yao Naga or Wu Yao Jigger. So Wu Yao Naga, I want that. Wu Yao Jigger, I want this. And so I couldn't get breakfast, and then I went to my work, and they got us to do trainings for the day, and I was hungry. I was like, I stunk because of the ride there, and like, how should I put it? I was doing a lot of things that I didn't know what to do, and then I got really, really hungry, and then I bought some food at like the little mall thing, and that ended up giving me a really bad stomachache. And then after work, I went to go home, same situation as the trip there. And then when I got home, or when I got off the metro, I was walking home and I got hit by an e-bike. And it just came out of nowhere. Like I'm just walking, I'm listening to music, and then all of a sudden, done, I'm out. That was real rough. And then like, so I landed in the garden that was like next to the road. And so I got like soil and everything on me, and I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, look, it's not the worst thing that could happen. All you need to do is just get home, and then you can take a shower. And when I got home, there was like a notice on the door, and I had no idea what it was because it was all in Chinese. And so like I walk in, and I'm like, all right, sweet, so I can get some food, had dinner, and I was like, all right, I'll have a shower, I need to clean up, and then I'll go to bed. Like this day's starting to turn out okay. And then take off all my clothes, go to turn the water on, and it's and at that point in time, like I just kind of collapsed in like the shower. I'm just like, I just can't anymore.
Like,
I just can't.
Position, like crying in the shower.
I just drank a beer in the shower, and I was just like, I just can't. And so I ended up putting my clothes back on, walking down and buying bottles of water, and like bottled water showering, just so that, and I didn't even have a chance to use soap. I could just get the mud off me. And then I collapsed, and I was like, that was a China day.
I remember there was this one, it was back in onboarding as well. I'd just gone for my first little visit to the school, and I was still feeling a bit dodgy. I remember I got on the metro back to the Grand Theatre bit, because that's where the hotel was that we were staying in, and I was really, really thirsty. I was like, it's fine. I know there's a little McDonald's or something nearby the thing. So basically I get out the wrong exit because I'm an idiot. And I'm just like dehydrated, diarrhea, Stephen, like wandering around the sort of KK Mall area, and just like nothing made sense. Like I was walking past like the things, and I was getting really disoriented. Like I'm gonna collapse, I'm gonna collapse. So I looked up and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna walk to the biggest building I can see, and then hopefully someone can help me, because when you first get here, you're very overwhelmed by not understanding everything. I don't think that's something I was really prepared for. And I walked into the thing, and this was like a messiah moment. The mall opened, and there was a big booth in the middle giving away like free Coca-Cola or something. And I was like, like the most pathetic like little thing walking towards like one, and yeah, drank some Coca-Cola.
And then it just kind of worked out in your favour. That's awesome. That's
the story about the time that I drank some Coca-Cola.
The irony is, it's like when you're having those really bad days and you're traveling, like it's just the littlest things will make you feel better.
Absolutely, yeah.
When I was recently in Morocco, and I was in Tangier. I thought like one day I'd been walking around like the Medina and like the Casa and all that sort of area, and eventually I was just like, I want to kind of explore the more sort of like unseen areas of Tangier, and so I just ended up just grabbing like my phone and my wallet and just walking, and I'd been walking for about 3 hours, and I just got so disorientated because like I didn't know the roads, like my French wasn't great, like it was better than I was expecting it to be, but it was still pretty shoddy.
Yeah, I think if you're put in a situation where you need to speak a language, your language ability just shoots up.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Determination.
Just do it, improvise. I heard someone hear this word. I heard someone say this word one time. And you just get there.
And that's pretty much what happened. Like I was I walked up this road and I was on the top of a hill, and I was like, right, when I get to the top of the hill, I'm gonna look out and I'm gonna find the water, because when I find the water, I'm gonna find my way home. And when I got to the top of it, there was like this big park area, and just like everyone's hanging out and playing soccer and like doing random things, and everyone's speaking Arabic. So I knew it wasn't like, how should I put it? There's like a big divide, because the people who can speak only Arabic are sort of looked down upon more than like if you can speak Arabic and French, it means that you're cultured.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a divide there, and so like I heard that everyone was just speaking Arabic, and I was like, this could not go well. And eventually, I ended up finding a taxi cab, and like by this time, I'm tired, I'm fed up, I'm disorientated, I'm hungry, I'm sweaty. It's so bad. And I get into a taxi cab, and he starts speaking to me in Arabic, and I was like, oh no, shalom, Laporte. And he was just like, Laporte. Okay. And I was like, sweet. And then he started speaking to me in English. I was like, why did you not tell me this? And so we start going, and I offer him a cigarette, and he's like, no, I don't smoke cigarettes, I smoke weed. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is great right now. And he starts smoking weed and driving down to get back to the port. And I'm like, at this point in time, I just stopped caring. I'm just like, you know what, bro, you do you. But just don't offer it to me again, because I'm just really, really, really not keen. And he's really chatty, because he's really trying to improve his English. And I was like, all right, well, I'll give this a go. I'll try and help him. And we were driving down the road, and he's like, oh, did you see that girl? I was like, no, I saw the car we almost hit. Like, at this point in time, like I am too tired and fed up to try and care and to try and save myself. So I just gave up. And eventually we get back to like the port, and to a point where I was like, right, I'm gonna stop the car. Gave him a big tip. I was just like, I don't care, just take my money. And I ended up walking back to the residence that I was at, and the lady sort of saw me, and she's like, oh, please sit down. And then she came out like about 5 minutes later with like hot, sweet Moroccan tea and with biscuits, and it was just like that moment, like, okay, everything's now going to be okay. And it was the little thing.
I think what I've noticed about taxi drivers in China and the few parts of Asia I visited, they're either really, really, really enthused and excited to have a foreigner, because they'll like chat away to you. Like what I like doing when I'm coming back from nights on the town, I like to play music on my phone and be like, is it okay? And sometimes I'll be like, oh, but sometimes they're like, yeah, Rich gets machine, fuck yeah, this is great. I wish I knew about this before. Or you get the ones that are just like, nah, you're not worth my time, go away, you lie or whatever. I remember when we were in South Korea, we were getting a taxi, and this taxi driver was one of the excited ones. He was like, okay, I've got these 3 Americans, probably was thinking, in that car, I'm going to give them the best taxi ride ever. And he gets his phone and he's like, music okay? And we're like, yeah, sure. He puts on 3 different versions of Amazing Grace, Aboriginal style, so with like pan flutes and stuff. It's like, I didn't know there were so many versions of Amazing Grace with like pan flutes and bongo drums and stuff. And we were like smiling and like having like, haha, and he was like, he had the biggest fucking grin of his life. He was like, yes, I have nailed this taxi journey. They're having the time of their life. I've got the American music on it. Yeah. He was so happy.
Actually, I must admit, like, when I was working in Korea, I absolutely hated it. But traveling in Korea is really lovely.
Yeah.
Because, actually, but like, I remember one night I'd gone up to Seoul for my birthday, and I ended up hitting up like a whole bunch of like expat blogs to try and find people. Didn't know anyone, and so I heard of this one bar, and I couldn't even tell you the area now. But I went there, and I ended up finding a whole bunch of these army boys who guarded the big divide between north and south. Yeah. And we just got on the mints with them, and like they were really, really good value. Anyway, like we got into a taxi cab, and they were just basically telling the guy, like, I think it was like Bali, which I think was faster. However, my Korean is just really terrible right now. And this guy's just like, all right, sweat, and he just nails it. And like, he's just going through stop signs, he's going through everything. And like, I think he knew that like, all right, well, I've got to try and be really hospitable. So, and I'll get like a massive tip out of it. So I'm going to go for it. And it was great. It was great. Like we were 7 beers deep and we're all kind of loving it.
Yeah, I remember I was speaking to one of this guy I met over in Korea, Alan's brother, and he was telling us this time he was drinking just in a bar. He's got like kind of shortish hair and everything at this point, and he's drinking in this bar, and this big fucking sergeant guy walks in, like looks him in the eye, like fucking like nails, like walks over to him. He's like, "Soldier, what are you doing away from your post? Get back there!" And he's like gives him this whole like, what the fuck, and he's just like, "I'm English, mate," like, and the guy's just like, "Okay, out," or something like that. Like,
oh, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, when I was going through this area, this was like the alleyways
were
really tight.
Nearby things were right.
Yeah. And like I remember coming through here, actually just here, and like you look at the concrete and it's all broken to hell. I'm like, all right, sweet. I mean, I've charged down mountains on a snowboard before, I'll give this a go. And it actually doesn't look as steep as it was. And it was just the hardest thing to try and keep control of.
Damn, man. That reminds me of Fumin. Fumin's got a lot of little areas like that.
Actually, I do. We need to go out to Fumin more often.
I've not been to Fumin in ages. Like, it's been a good few months. Is Barrett Brew still? Not Barrett Brew, Evil Duck at still place, right?
Evil Duck, I believe Evil Duck's still there. And it's like, I mean, I like Evil Duck. I mean, one, because there is a New Zealander who owns it, so I mean, I kind of get that sort of home nostalgia thing happening.
Okay.
And two, like, I guess all of like the drinks are named like Kia Kaha, da, and everyone's just super friendly.
Yeah. Do you ever go to the bottle bar that's next door to?
Not
it's called
yet.
Dean. I was there once. I was there with Nadia and Abender from my school, and there was these two older Chinese boys playing dice over there, and we were like, all right, come join us. We'll all play dice together. We're just having a good time. One of them spoke really good English, and the other one was kind of quiet. So it got to they were like, okay, guys, we need to go, but it's been really fun hanging out with you. And yeah, man, quality. And the first guy talking to one we do, you do the thing where you're like,
The pull-in handshake.
Yeah, the pull-in handshake with the backpack and
everything.
I do it to the other guy. I'm like, yeah, good meeting you. And he goes, like fucking chops me. And I'm like, whoa, man. He's
I mean, because you can't see that, it was basically like kung fu maneuvers that just came out of nowhere.
And he was like, yeah, sorry, mate, I thought you were attacking me. I'm kind of a kung fu master. I was like, mate, you move fast. For like, this guy was like maybe like in his 60s at least. And he was fast. And so he's like, if you want to go outside, I can teach you some. And
of course you did. Of course you're like,
who's going to say no to that shit? So we're standing just basically outside Evil Duck. And this old guy is like, okay, try and hit me. I was like, okay. Chinese man, but I was like, I don't care. This is just good fun, good quality.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. I love it, man. Yeah. I must admit, like back home, I always look for those like random evenings, and those are the ones that you celebrate. Like, oh man, we kind of went there. And I can't believe that we found this random thing. Like here, it's just every time that I go off to do something random and wonderful will happen. And I mean, a lot of people do complain about it because you do see some things that I guess it takes adjusting to see.
Yeah.
Like kids peeing and pooing in the streets and
Boxes of turtles.
and like actually when I was in Shanghai, I saw someone had like strapped a frog to the window, like the front window of the car, and it was like a scorching hot day. I don't know why they had done it, but it was like splayed out, and like you could just sort of see its little chest breathing. And I was like,
Are they like cooking this guy?
I couldn't, like, I saw that and I was like, all right, sweet, I need to just not think about this.
Yeah.
And, like, things like that will spark a China Day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see that while you're having a China Day, things just go south.
Yeah. You're like, okay, nothing good can happen today. I remember it was one of the first times I went round to Frank and Rachel's place. I was waiting for them outside their apartment. I was still pretty new to China, maybe like 2 months in at this point. And you'll have seen this before. This guy, and he had like maybe like the pole was maybe like 2 meters long over his shoulder, and on the end there was just this massive turtle. Like I'm talking like a proper big bird.
Oh yeah, it's a giant pole, and then like they hold it at the front, and like it goes down up over the shoulder, and then the turtle's dragging off the ground, and his little feet can't get traction.
I couldn't look at it for long enough to work if it was dead or alive, but I was like kind of shocked. I was staring, and then the guy just turned around and he's like, You want buy? You want buy? I was like, no man, what the fuck am I going to do with a turtle? But,
actually, one of the worst things that happened is I was in Shanghai and I was walking, and I wasn't having a particularly good day, but I was walking down like East Nanjing Road, and this guy comes out and he's like, you want girl? Young girl, not baby, but young girl. And I was like, God, I really want to hit you. I really want to hit you right now. Like, and that sort of spiraled me out. And then I went off and I got some delicious food, and the world made sense again.
Yeah. But
it's kind of the thing. It's like when you're having a China Day, you know you're having a China Day, so you need to find your extra special favorite thing. And it could be food, it could be just whatever.
Yeah, I like going on my little motorbike adventures. That's always a refreshing thing, because you always, you always go a different way every time. Even if you're not going that far, you always see like little nooks and crannies that you weren't aware of before. So I think definitely getting on the e-bikes thing really opened up the city for me a lot. I'd gotten to know it sort of metro stop to metro stop, but it's the bits in between the metro stops that's the interesting bits.
That's it. And like you've got to ride defensively when you're around here. So like
Very.
You'll overtake cars, and like people who are watching this are probably going to think that I'm riding quite aggressively. But the thing is, like, this is the way that you have to do it so that you don't get hit.
Absolutely.
If you are timid, you will get hit.
It's not for the faint-hearted. Absolutely not.
Oh, and I think like a little bit of Dutch courage does help.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
I honestly don't think I've had like a nighttime journey without like at least 1 or 2 beers in my system to make sure I don't get hit.
It's no fun that way, right?
Oh man, it's actually most of the adventures that I've had, and like the longest ones, there have been many stops along the way to get beverages, because I mean you do get dehydrated and you need that to help you along.
Yeah, Dan once told me, I don't know. Yeah, Dan once told me that beer hydrates you faster than water. I don't know if he was just saying that to sell me a beer or whatever, but I was like, okay, I believe that. That sounds good. It fits my purposes right now.
And that seems like a perfect place to finish.
Yeah.